We're just gonna start taking stuff off here to get at this intake and to be able to take this intake off. I don't even know exactly what I have to take off yet. I'm just gonna go through and I believe the fuel rail injectors probably can stay with the intake. We'll find out. We'll just go and we'll see what we have to do here. Get this stuff off. We're going to disconnect the battery. And obviously, I've got the little snorkel to the throttle body off already. Definitely throttle cable needs to come off of there. Figure out how to do that. Can't see it. Okay, let's see how it's shaped. Let me get my mirror off to a good start. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, it's just a push in there. I don't think there's really much to this except to push it through here. I think I'll probably fight this for half an hour trying to get it undone. Do I even need to? Yeah, I have to get that cable off. That has to come out. It should slide out the side here. Yeah, it's like that. That's undone. This is bracketed on here, so this has to come off as well. It's not going to want to, but it has to. Let's just see. It's like a rubber bushing. Not hard plastic. Just pushes through and it's tight. There it goes. Rubber bushing. We'll get that out of the way. Let's move that to the front here out of the way for now. Electrical connector, let's see, this has got to come out. Let me see how this comes. I don't mean, this just pulls off, okay. This hose is going to have to come off. This can probably stay, be careful of that. Don't break it. On this end of the electrical harness from fuel injectors, looks like there's a connector right on this end. Can't really see it. I guess I can pull that off. I'll get my hose pliers. Let's see if I can get a little bit of grip on that. Get that off of there. Come on. Alright. Let's just move that out of the way. Set that aside. I can see. What is that? That's definitely connected. There's a connector here. That's got to come undone. Okay, on that end, this hose, I believe this is just a rubber 90 down here, if I remember correctly. PCV hose, notorious for collapsing. Yep, it's coming off. Doesn't want to, but it is. That's just a 90-degree push on. These are notorious for going bad, but this has been replaced already, I can tell. At least once. What else do we have? I believe that's a coolant line. I'll get this everything off of here because it's not one to let go, that's for sure. There it goes. Loosen it up. Didn't really leak. Good. Well, that's because my clamper just didn't leak. It didn't really leak. Alright, now I'm going to go back to these two. I've got an electrical connector right here to the side of the throttle body. Won't do that. And it looks like there's one down here. It's hard to see. It's going to the intake as well. Got a vacuum line. It's probably going to have to come undone off of this connector up here by this, right by the fuel injector here, end of the fuel injector. See if I can get that loose. There it goes. So that's gonna have to get up out of the way here. Electrical connector here. Oh, that could probably, that whole harness is gonna come on down there. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so looks like there's connector down here. I don't know what that connector's to. That's gonna have to come out, or am I gonna leave this and undo my injectors? I might undo my injectors, leave this alone as much as I can. I don't know yet. We'll find out. I'm just going to try to figure out how to get these two connectors, the one to the brake booster. Actually, this one I just got out off the evap system. There we go. I'll do that. Kind of set that out of the way. So here's the line from the brake booster. It's a hard line. Goes into a fitting. It's down here on the side of the throttle body. And when you pull on this line, you'll see it has an inner and an outer ring on that fitting. And the inner ring wants to come out with the line. What you have to do is hold that inner ring in. Push the line in a little bit. Hold that inner ring in. I just used a screwdriver and went down on the edge of it and held it in. And then as you hold that in, pull this out and it'll come out, basically. But you have to hold that inner ring of that fitting in, or it will not let go of that line and you'll end up breaking it. You do not want to break it. Trust me, you do not want to break that. Alright, so what else do I have down here? These hard lines. There's a fitting for them down here. I'm trying to look at that fitting and see. I kind of just unplug it. They come up to here, to the EGR valve, and they wind up to here as well. And then there's another one that goes to the evap. I'm trying to see if I can just disconnect all of them. I think they're just a rubber connector, 90 degree, I think, if I'm looking at it. Yeah, so they all go into a connector right there. I'm going to try to get these off of here, unplugged from this and unplugged from the EGR valve. Easy enough to do that, simply because these are easy to break. And I don't want to break them. I'm hoping not to break them, I hope. Let me back you up a little bit because I moved you in close to look at that. So I'm actually down here to a rubber connector. All these hard lines go in. It's down here under the throttle body in the side of the intake. I just unplugged that. There's a port for it down there. I'm going to try to undo these. I think they'll just pop off if I can get them moving. Don't want to break them, I hope. They should come out. There we go. That's loose. These are hard lines, so I'm just going to fish them out for now. Like I said, I don't want to break them. From past experience, they'll break. They're hard, so they get brittle over time. These don't look too bad. I'm going to try to fish them out if I can. If I can. It's going to be a fishing exercise to get these out of here. I am sure. There's my line to my fuel rail, my line to my evap, two to this junction up here, and one to the EGR. I'm going to actually try to go out the EGR side, I think, here if I can, and sneak this through, maybe. I know you can't see this, but I'm just trying to fish it through that connector past. Weasel everything out of here. And weasel it out, I can weasel it back in when it's done. Just don't yank on it, just don't hang it up, just be careful with it. I don't want to grab everything with these 90-degree boots on the end of it. It's coming out. It's going to come out. Okay. Alright. Well, there it is. Goes like that. That goes into a port on the intake down lower. Fuel injection, evap, connector up here, EGR. Set it out of the way. Don't break it. Alright, what do I have left? I've got a fuel line that has to come off. This line for the evap, I'm leaving that on. If I can, I'm going to leave that on. I should be able to. I think so. I've got a couple electrical connectors here that I have to do. Trying to decide. That rail's got to stay on there. I may disconnect my fuel injectors, all of which the little locks on them are broken. They're all zip tied, which is fine. They get brittle. And I might just undo them. Undo this connector here. Kicking my butt tonight is what it's doing so far. Push the tab in, unconnect that. Let me cut my zip ties that are holding my injector harness on, and we'll take them off. They just get so the little locking tabs get so brittle. And fortunately, on this one, you can get a zip tie around the injector harness, so it will not come loose and won't come off. All right, so they're all done. So I should be able to just get them off of there now. Go on, let's see, that out of there. And zip tie. Not that it really matters. I'll take it off there. I'm not getting it out of there when I'm looking at it. 2, 3. Okay, there's all my injector harnesses. That one's full of oil. Oh, that's nice. Full of oil. Well, my engine oil dipstick, that's gonna have to come out. I might have to unbolt that actually and take it out. Looks like an 8mm here. Probably take this dipstick tube out, I think. I think that's what's gonna happen there. What else do I have? Probably have to undo the EGR. That pipe comes all the way through. There's probably 2 bolts here holding it on. It goes this way, my guess. Yeah, there's one. And there's the other. Where's the other? Well, if it was in there, I don't think it's in there. I think it's missing. There's one right there, though, on the front side of it. I think the one in the back, I don't think it's there. That's beautiful. Well, I'm going to take that front one off at least. I'll take a look with a mirror, but should be 2 there. Watch your pressure when you undo these fuel lines. This fuel line here. Make sure that you have a rag or something around in case there's pressure. You want to release that pressure. Got all my connectors still off down here. Oh no, I have one more. I have a bottom connector on the throttle body, which is coolant. Another one. I had this top one here, which I undid. There's one down the bottom. I've got to do that one as well. Let me do that. And this is, I know you can't see any of this. I'll kind of show you the connections after I get this thing off. There's a bunch of it on the throttle body. Just trying to get at them. Everything is right in the way. Of course, I'm just trying to break the hose loose. It's been on there so long. It's probably original. Probably never been off of there. There it goes. It's just a little bit of dribbling out of there. We'll just pull that up for now. I'm going to put a plug in it because it's going to drop down on me probably. Just jam that in there. Keep it from leaking all over. If it drops down, it'll probably start leaking. Just pull that up over here for now. Okay, that's everything on the throttle body. And I know you can't see much of this. I realize that, but I'm just going through the bolts now. I need to undo this fuel. I'm just going to see if I can get to all these bolts. Bolt on the end, nut on the end actually. Start with that one. There's a stud, but the stud should stay in place. There's my 11mm nut off the very end. I just want to get them all started. See if I can get them all loose. There's this bracket here. It's got a bolt up top here, right here. And I'm guessing, well, that's a big one there. That's probably, well, that might be 13. They're definitely not making this easy. I'll give them that. They're trying to make it as difficult as possible. 11 on one end, 10 on the other. Make them all the same, guys. Yeah, it's 10. Okay. Might be able to just get that right. tell if the stud's coming out or the nut's coming off. I can't see it, so whatever it is coming off. No, the nut's coming off. 10 millimeter, right on the end there, on this bracket. It's a bolt holding the other side of this bracket. So I want to get off and out of the way here. 13 millimeter. And it is tight. The camera's right in my way. Right in my way. Come on. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Got to be kidding me, right? Come on, loose. Come on. There it goes. I heard you. I heard you move. I need you to move. Not a lot of play here, but it did crack loose, which is, I know you can't, you're looking at the back of my head or my shoulder or something right now. But, oh, there it goes. Wow. That was not fun. That was not fun at all. Alright. Fish that off of there. Alright, here's my bracket. I put my bolt right back in there. It's not going to be in my way. I don't have to remember where it goes. It's right in there. Sit that right there, right up here. It goes all the way through and holds both. It's definitely 8 millimeter. Let's see how far it goes in. It's real long. Yeah, it sure is. Look at how long that is. Look how long that thing is. So, there's two pieces here. That's why there's two gaskets. There's an inner and an outer gasket. So this rail has to come off. So I've got a couple more electrical connectors down here, buried down here. Cam sensor? No, sorry, crank sensor, I believe. And oil pressure sender, and there's one other one buried under here. I don't know what that is, but it's, regardless, it's got to come off. So we'll do that. Let me disconnect this fuel line up here. That's going to have to come undone. We'll just leave this rest of this fuel line is going to come off with it. I believe we can just leave it on there, take it off with it. That's the plan right now, at least. We'll see how that goes. There it goes. Yep, quick connect. Watch if that's the one you got to watch. I knew this has been sitting for a while, so I knew the pressure wasn't going to be bad. But that could have pressure in it. Put a rag around it if you need to when you're doing it. You definitely need to do a quick disconnect to get that off of there. So the rest of this will come off with the intake. All right, so I've got, I believe it's an O2 sensor underneath here, oil pressure sensor, sending unit, and my crankshaft sensor. Got them all undone. I think what I'm going to do is I've got this all disconnected. I can open this harness up and just pull this whole harness up and out of the way and get it out of the way. Just there's two connectors here that have to be undone. So I've got to kind of look at how they're. And Ford is not making this easy on me. I'll give them that. They're making it. I can't even see how to get them undone. I've got everything just. Yeah, it's on the back side. You can't see it. There you go. That one. There's one here, which is the bottom. It's on the bottom. The lock tab. I think it is. Thought I felt it. We don't want to make it easy. Yeah, there it goes. Heard it or not. There. So there. Now, let me undo the top here. I should be able to open this up. I think. You gonna come up here for me? Oh boy. Gonna be a pain, aren't you? I know it just pushes over there. There. You just pop on there. Couple into a couple of posts. I don't want to break them. That one came right off. This one does not look like one that's come off very much for me. I'm trying to get a look at it, but it should pop off of there. You can't see anything on this car. I mean, I guess if you work on them every day, if you worked on Fords every day, it wouldn't be an issue, but I don't work on them every day. I'm gonna figure out how that connected there. Let me look at this one. Oh, there's no pad. Whew. Let's see. Oh man, oh man. There we go. Now, should be able to think I got everything disconnected here. Got to fish it back in. On this one, nah, it's just hung up. Watch that crankshaft sensor. Let's come over the oil filter. Get that loose. Who's hung up now? There we go. Pretty much to hold on here. Let go. Who's got a hold? Who's hung up here? Come here. Ah, they're just fighting me to death here. Really? On this one? No, I didn't. What hung up on? Oh, I did miss one. Wow. Ah, there's one. That's the other end. That's the O2 sensor down there. Man, oh man, everything's in the way. Alright, so I've got all those connectors, but I've got to get down there. I've got to go underneath. Get the O2 sensor. It looks like, to me, downstream O2 sensor. Back in there. I'm going to have to go down and get that. And then I can take this whole harness and just stick it out of the way. I probably could just do that like it is here without having to go down and disconnect the rest of it. Leave it there. I might just try that. I might just pull it up a little bit. It gives me access to everything here. I think I'll leave that bottom one. That gives me enough play, I think, to do this. We'll start pulling the bolts out of this. Boy, there's not a lot of room in this. I will say that. Not a great design. In my book, it's not a great design, that's for sure. I guess with a long extension, you can get this. You can get to probably the bottom ones with a long extension, and come back here, back towards the firewall with an extension and a wobble extension. That's your best bet, I think. That's probably what we'll do. Let me break them loose. We'll see how it goes. I know you can't see this, but there's just, you know, intake bolts coming in from the back, and they're just they're tight. They're just the ones on the bottom are not the easiest to get to. I'll just say that. We'll just leave it at that. Now I'm gonna sneak in between the runners to the one in the middle here. It's right in front of almost right in front of the throttle body, a little bit to the driver's side, with a wobble extension. Gives me a little more play, a little more angle that I can get. Just gotta get a good position on it. Oh, come on. Try to get in a good spot. Here it went. Well, it went a little bit, didn't go much though. I got that one started. I'm gonna have to undo the bracket on this dipstick too. Probably pull that out of there to get that loose. It's bolted to on the throttle body. That's 8mm. Yeah, I'll do that right now while I'm thinking of it. I don't think there's anything else holding this. It's probably the only thing holding it on there. This is one of those jobs where the parts cost almost nothing and the labor is the one that's going to get you. get it apart and getting it out of there. I haven't even thought about how hard it's going to be to get it up and out of there yet. Okay. I'm going to look at the bottom of that, but I don't think anything else holds that in there. I'm going to get the top bolts loose now. I've got to get the nut on this end that was behind that bracket that I took off. Take that off of there now. Should be able to get to that. That one's out. That one's loose. Nothing there. My end one. I've got my bottom one started out. See if I can get them out. There's one. There we go. There you go. Alright, got them out. I've got to do the EGR. I've got to get this EGR off of here. So I'm going to work on that next. Alright, so I'm underneath the car looking up right at the bottom of the intake, and you can see there's an oxygen sensor that's mounted to a bracket, and that bracket is attached to the intake. 2 bolts, look like 10mm. I have to take them off. Hopefully this is focusing. I can't tell if it's focusing for you or not, but right on the bottom of the intake. 2 bolts, undo that bracket. And I thought I was missing a bolt on the EGR valve on the back, and I can see it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it to you, but I can see it up there. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. It's got antifreeze dripping right in my face. It is missing a bolt in the back. Oh, that's terrible. EGR valve's right here. That's got to come off. There's 2 bolts. As I said earlier, my back one, it's not there. I can't tell what's broken off in there, but it's definitely the head of the bolt's gone. It broke off. It's seized in there. That's beautiful. All right. So it looks like I'll be doing a little bit of work there once I get that loose. I'm going to come to the front. I'm going to back you up here a little bit because you won't be able to see it. Oh, wrong way. Snapped that right off. So that pipe, I don't believe anything else is holding that on. There's 2 bolts in the front here to the exhaust. Also 10mm. Hopefully I won't break them. But these are nuts, so I think they'll come off. So I'm going to take these 2 off and see if I can take that whole pipe and loosen that whole pipe up. I don't believe there's anything else holding that. It's loose. I'm just going to push it out of the way. I'm not going to try to take it out of there. I'm not thinking fishing that out would be a lot of fun. But it's loose. It's out of my way. So now I should be able to start working on that intake to get that intake out. I hope. We'll see. Hopefully I'll fish out of there without too much problem. Got all the bolts. In fact, my outer intake, I can see already, the outer piece to it is loose. So, let's see how loose it is. I don't know how loose it is, but I'm going to find out. I'm probably fighting this right there. This is exactly what I was fighting. Dipstick tube. Interesting. I don't know how I'm going to get that off of there. It's off, basically. I've got to get this dipstick tube out. Got to figure out how to do that. I don't know if I can fish that through there or not without having to take it off. Try to pull it up, basically. Let me fight with that dipstick tube and see what I have to do there. I'm going to try to get a better look at it. I don't think there's anything holding it except it's just pushed in. So I'll just try to pull that out, basically. Other than that, it's off. It's basically loose. Well, there you go. You just kind of got to get a little medieval with it and kind of grab it, wiggle it around, pull it out. Just pulls out. So that's out of the way. I should be able to get that intake, I think, now. I think I want to take this off and get it out of the way. Gives me a little more room. Let me get that off of there. I think my best bet on this is to undo. I'm going to undo this throttle body, which I didn't want to do, but I think it's going to be in my best interest just to do that. Get the right size here. Do I have the right size? I do. Might not have to do this. You might be able to fish it out. This line in the back's giving me a hard time. I had a hard time getting undone. I don't want to break it. So I'll just pull the throttle body. Come on. You know what I gotta do? You been on there so long. Only been 20 years. Come on. Alright, stick you back on the stud so they can't go around on you. Put you back on there for a second. Gotta hold you in place for you. Well, there's my EGR gasket. Came right off. That was nice. There's one. Gonna fight me, huh? You're gonna fight me? Really? Don't fight me that much. The bracket on the bottom underneath is probably pushing up on this. Just giving me a hard time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to undo the rest of that bracket on the bottom. So if I had to do this again, I'd have taken this off first. I can't get a good shot at it. Let me just see if I can get a screwdriver and break it loose. Oh man. Whew, tight. It's a little tight. I'm gonna fight with that for a while, but I will get it. It's coming. It's just that the gasket's got a good hold. Get it started. There we go. All right, there's your throttle body. All right, so here's the piece that's up against, right against the cylinder head. I pushed that outer piece far enough. Could slide this off the studs. You have one electrical connector on this end that I did not disconnect initially, but I disconnected that. I was able to get that off of there. Now, I'll see if I have enough. In fact, here's the gasket. Here's the outer gasket. I'll make it fluid here. Let's see, pick this hose up so I don't leak all over the place. Leak the coolant. There's my outer gasket. It's leaking on this end. Where? I don't know. I don't know where. But it was leaking for sure. All right, let me set this out of the way for now. Now, do I have enough room to get this out still? I don't know. Here's my harness. So, I'm going to try to pull these studs, not threaded all the way up to the head. I'm going to try to grab them on the non-threaded part. Let's see if they're, yeah, they're not real tight. They'll come right out. Good. That's just hoping. At least this one did. And I imagine the other one will too. They're usually not torqued really hard. Just spun in by hand. I did clean that off. I didn't show that, but you want to, before you take this apart, blow some air in there, clean off so you don't get anything down into the cylinders. So that's what they look like. I just grabbed a hold of it with a pair of vice grips on there and just spun it right out. Alright, there's the other one. Good. Now, let's see. Let's see if I have enough room now. I think I will. If I can fish this out. Yeah. There we go. So it's leaking right up in here on this port somewhere. Well, that's it for the removal of this intake to do the intake gaskets for a gasket leak, an intake gasket leak that was causing a P0171. I'm waiting for parts, basically. I'm going to push this outside. I'm going to tape up that, what I just cleaned in there. So I don't have to worry about any crud getting in there, nothing getting in there, no problems. And then when I get the gaskets in, should be a day or two here, I'll put it back together. That'll be part 2. Not too bad. As I showed, looked like I broke one of the EGR bolts, the front one, the back one was already, I didn't look in there, probably should look to see. I'm guessing it's, yeah, they're both broken off right in there, so the back one was already broke. I'll try to drill them out. And the front one broke right off, which is not uncommon for these. See if I can maybe heat it, get an easy out in it, get them out of there, hopefully. But we'll clean it up and we'll put it back together. I originally didn't think I was going to have to take the throttle body off of this. I was trying not to, but I think it's easier. Just take the throttle body off. But that's it for the removal. If you have to do this for your car, I hope it helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.